happening in here. It's way too loud.
Oh, we need 10 minutes. All right, we can do a sound check then. That was the whole thing. Nice to meet you.
Yesterday, a quarter of my office got laid off. Why? Out of nowhere. There's like, hey man, and they're like, yeah, so. Have your part of your
Messing around.
I think, yeah, hey, yes. Me, there's a lot of people that are here over people support the market of God. And all those people yeah, we cut almost a quarter of our ACP. I know 5 per firm. There's at least more than my wife,
as long as they change the time. If they don't change the time,
What is it?
the manager, I don't know, understand how.
This is why you hire a sound guy.
Another break.
It's all made up.
Yeah, it's all made up. Their organization, manager reports to the unless you direct the manager's salary. So unless it comes to director, yeah. So she could take on all of it, and then they could instead of changing their title, keep her on manager, hire a director, and then she reports to the new boss.
2 weeks ago, the head of
Not like I disrespect.
Casey Vince, like, he's not a smart kid. He just got back from Tanzania. Both his parents are sick, and his father was a few $100 He's like,
How he's ready.
it's for you guys. Nobody's in the play.
I think we need to.
No one plays. One of them was senior executive.
How do we get better?
Yeah, but you still get a job. They bought the show, like, it's gonna suck to do work. But this is like, basically, you can, like, crush it at the end of the year. Like, there's nobody else here. It's like, don't screw up. But basically,
How you can do whatever you want. Yeah, but you're right. It's like
exactly. Like, how do you wear March? And then in 10 years from now, we'll have which I appreciate. But I appreciate. I think that made up about 4%. I'm there with you. We'll be there together,
There's a lot of the city. We love the city after. It's like 2. It's already
Like
getting
a few like shops that are like to say like I think guys are rating. Say tier 1, but no black. It's not going to be
It's something. It's something. Yeah.
L'chaim, mazel tov, mazel tov. Thank you, David, so much. Wow, what a wonderful simcha. Thanks for bringing me in. So nice to rejoin the community here. It's always great, always memorable when I'm here. It's wonderful. L'chaim, everybody. I tried. Oh. That was an introduction.
Yeah, you're not from here.
Now you know.
Let's have a mazel tov, and welcome to this beautiful Siyum. First of all, he's not here right now. Such a beautiful suda, tremendous Yeshikoach to Rabbi Beer, who's joining us here for tonight. Emeretz Hashem, and not just for tonight, but Emeretz Hashem for Shabbos Hagadol as well. So Chevra, again, I would just tell everyone that tomorrow night, To'amel, at 6:10 p.m., followed by a Kabbalah Shabbos, which is going to be led by Rabbi Eli, Emeretz Hashem at 7 o'clock p.m. It's going to be beautiful. Shabbos day. Musaf led by Rabbi Eli, again, a beautiful Kiddush, a luncheon here at the shul. So it's going to be a real Shabbos of incredible Aliyah. We have a couple of speakers, Baruch Hashem, this evening. But I just want to take the opportunity, again, first of all, to give our Hakaras HaTov. So number one, again, we spoke about Yonasan. I also really want to give a tremendous Hakaras HaTov to, where did he just go? He was here, just here, Maishi. To Maishi Abramson. And to Jeremy Lassen. You know, one of the most beautiful things today, I will tell you, like, because we finished the Masechta, it was really incredible to see. I got a number of Mazel Tov messages from Eretz Yisrael, from South Africa, from England, from Australia, from all different places, of people who, Baruch Hashem, join our shir, which is incredibly beautiful and incredibly wonderful. And that's really thanks to all of the incredibly hard work, our Reb Moshe and Reb Jeremy, who really make sure that we are set up and we're able to broadcast. And Baruch Hashem, even when I don't know how to work things or I mess up things, I always know that I could text them at 5:40 in the morning with a simple message of trouble. And Baruch Hashem, by 5:43 they're there, and the issue has been resolved. So Chevra, Moshe, Jeremy, on behalf of the entire shir, thank you so very much. Also, a very special thank you to Rabbi Richter, Baruch Hashem, who is one of our Magidei Shir. Baruch Hashem for the daf. He does such a beautiful job in the Kila in general, but specifically, again, his attention to the daf and his wonderful shir. Rav Kalman Akiva Kovacs is not able to join us tonight. Baruch Hashem. Kabbalah Kar Tov. It's also Rav Kalman Akiva. So I'll just tell you like this before we call upon our speakers and enjoy. And by the way, there's plenty of food. There's plenty of food. Meretz Hashem. So please help yourself to seconds, to thirds. Should be a beautiful suda. There's a story that's told about a chassid who once came to his Rebbe. Or I should say the Rebbe came to the chassid. And the Rebbe said to the chassid, and the Rebbe said to his chassid, I haven't seen you at the tish in the last couple of years. You know, by the Hasidim, so Friday night there's a tish, and the Rebbe says to the chassid, I haven't seen you at the tish for a very long time. The chassid says, Rebbe, I'm going to be honest with you. I come to the tish, and whenever I come to the tish, I fall asleep. It's late on Shabbos night already, so I come, I sit down, and before I know it, I'm asleep. So if I'm going to fall asleep, I might as well be asleep in my bed than asleep at the tish. So the Rebbe says, let me give you a mashal. Because imagine a person has to get from destination A, from spot A to spot B. He takes a train. And he gets on the train, and as soon as he sits down, he falls asleep. So tell me, says the Rebbe to the chassid, train ends up getting to spot B, to location B. Did he get to his destination? Did he make it to where he needed to get to? And of course the answer is yes, but he was asleep. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you fall asleep. It just matters that you get on the train. Chevra, a lot of times in Daf Yomi, a lot of times in Daf Yomi, there are sugyas that come up, and I see it. I've spent enough time in this position to know. I know exactly who's gonna smirk. I'm avoiding eye contact with this, right? I know exactly what pockets are gonna start. Like I know Zov today. I knew Flum. I know what's gonna happen. I know it. I will say, so sometimes, by the way, that's actually beautiful. The truth is, there's absolutely nothing more exciting than me seeing the commotion going on. You see, I used to, when I was a younger man, I used to find it distracting. I used to find it distracting, right? Now I find it exciting. Because Baruch Hashem, it is so great just to see the excitement, so great to see the hislava, so great to see the chevrashaft. I will say, but sometimes, let's be honest, there are sugyas, like you might have noticed, we spent an incredible amount of time in Masehes Nazir on corpse dust, right? We did. I know you might not have noticed, right? And there are days in the daf that you say to yourself, I know. We say to ourselves like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Right? I don't know that I really fully understand what it is that we're doing. I don't even know that I was fully awake for the shir that was happening. And I don't know. I know it began. I know that it ended. I heard the sponsorships, and I heard Birchos HaShachar. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I know that there was stuff there in between, but I'm not exactly sure what it was. And I will say sometimes, and we all have days like that. And in those days, we question ourselves, and we question our commitment to the daf, and we question, but Chevra, we remember the eitzah that this precious Rebbe gave to his precious chassid, which is sometimes in life, it's just about getting on the train. And even if you sleep through the journey still occurs. You see, when you learn Torah, whether your mind understands it or not, to be honest, is somewhat irrelevant. When a Jew wakes up early, whether you're coming to shir in person, or you're on Zoom, or you're listening on the podcast at a later time, when you're carving out the time to learn, you're getting on the train of Ruchnius. And when you get on the train of Ruchnius, magical and magnificent things happen. But I slept through the journey. Who cares? When you wake up, you're exactly where you need to be. When you wake up, you're exactly where you need to be. No one of us, I think, retains every single thing. No one of us remembers every single daf. But at the end of the day, we're on the train, Chavra. And that means every single day, I get myself from point A to point B. I'm aware, I'm awake, I'm asleep, I'm cognizant. Doesn't make a difference. All you need to do is answer the call of all aboard at 5:45 a.m. And if you answer that call and you get on the train, I promise you, you will absolutely get where you need to get. That's the message of Daf Yomi. That's the power of what we do every single morning. And you know it deep down. Because even on those days where you might not be holding in what the Gemara was saying, you feel different. You feel good. You feel on fire. You feel inspired. You feel connected. Even if the mind has absolutely no idea what just transpired over the last 50 minutes. Although lately it's been like 8 minutes in Daf. A lot more Shar B'Tachon. But all you need to do, Chavra, is get on the train. Get on the train, be part of the journey. And magnificent things occur. We should be Zochem Yiras Hashem to continue the journey for many years to come. It was like Sota starts tomorrow. By the way, I just want to tell you, Daf Beis, ridiculously incredible. Transformative, cathartic, uplifting, right? Riveting, transformational in every single way. Chavra, it is like one of the best datim of Shas. What? It is the best. The truth is, there's so much incredible Agadata by Sota, and it's just every day is another journey, Chevra. And again, I know this is a difficult Masechta because the truth is, like, it's Pesach, and with Pesach, kind of Baruch Hashem, it's like, it's Pizur, Pesach, the whole Yesod of Pesach was like Kibbutz Kalios, Kadosh Baruch who gathered us in and took us out. Now, contemporarily, Pesach is a scattering of Klal Yisrael, right? La Arba Canfos, Florida, right? So it's hard, and it's hard sometimes when we're not in our natural atmosphere. It's hard to kind of keep things up. Rabos, I want to tell you something. This Masechta, the best. Nazir was the best also. Yevamis was the best also. Ksubas was the best also. This one is the best Masechta we're learning now. It's the best Masechta we're learning now. Chavra, get on the train. And even those days when you fall asleep on the journey, just know, even if you fall asleep, you're still taking the journey. We should be Zochem Yiras Hashem to take this journey together for many, many years to come. And Halavai Yiras Hashem. We should be Zochem one day, even if we're sleeping on the train, that when we wake up, we find ourselves in the ultimate destination. We find ourselves in Eretz Yisrael. We find ourselves in Yerushalayim Yira Kodesh, like the Gemara says. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, during the Regalim, had such a large shear that he couldn't find the base medrash to hold everyone. So where would he give shear? Where would Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai give shear? He would give shir in Orlando, right? Incorrect. He would give shir in the shade of the wall of the Beis HaMikdash. Chavra, one day, the day is going to come. We're going to run with our Gemara in hand to hear shir from Yochanan ben Zakkai in the shade of the wall of the third Beis HaMikdash. It's going to happen. We're on our way. The Chavra, all we have to do is just keep getting on the train each and every day. We should be Zochem Yiras Hashem to board the train together. We should be Zochem Yiras Hashem to take the journey together. We should be Zochem Yiras Hashem to continue to learn, to steig, to grow together. Ameh ve'esim shana and abias gam hira b'yameinu. Amen. Chavra, it's my pleasure. First of all, a very special mazel tov to Rabbi Yehuda Buchwalter, who just had a grandson in Yerushalayim Yira Kodesh. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Mazel tov. So, Chavra, we have a couple of short Divrei Torah over the course of the evening. My pleasure to ask. Okay, before we do this, before I introduce, Baruch Hashem, part of the beauty of the shir, part of the beauty of the Siyum, is I would encourage you, get up from your seat. If there are people you don't recognize, introduce yourself. Say hello. Say a shalom aleichem. So the truth is, many of you know Larry Franks, right? You know Larry Franks because he is the proud owner and proprietor of Accents, Serengeti. What's the milchiks one? I don't eat milchiks, right? Cocachinos, right? Cocachinos. So the women go. Right? So the cocachinos. So what you don't know is that Larry is a member of our daf each and every day, Baruch Hashem. And that's the beauty of the daf, Chevra. Like, a lot of us only see the Chevra who's there with us physically in shul every day. But Baruch Hashem is such a larger Chevra. My pleasure to ask of Larry to share with us a few words.
I'm not the message he got from South Africa.
Whoever brought those 2 handles of bourbon, I thank you personally. And that's a tough act to follow, Rabbi. So, Rabbi Silber, Rabbi Richter, friends, on March 20th, exactly 3 years ago, COVID hit. Within a 1-week period, I thought my life was over. In my mind, I'd lost my business, I was unable to support my family, and I hit a very deep depression. We had huge Pesach contracts, all of which disappeared in a 24-hour period, and the government all but shut down my businesses. I remember sitting on the floor in my office crying and feeling desolate. The community was in a flat panic because all the Pesach programs had been cancelled, and nobody knew, especially the people who had gone to these programs, how to even cook food for Pesach. I remember calling Rabbi Silber. I don't know if you remember this or not. And I said, Rabbi, and I was sitting on the floor crying. I said, Rabbi, can't people just go to 7 Mile Market, buy a chicken and cook it? Like, people were calling me for a chicken. They were calling me for a quart of soup. It was a very challenging moment. Rabbi, thank you for taking my calls. You answered the call on the first time, every time, and thank you for that. I do not remember what... We're getting to that. But I do not remember your answer about the chicken, but my journey to where I am today began 3 years ago. When the rabbi asked me to speak with a text message yesterday, I was quite flustered. I had no idea what I should talk about, being that I'd never really attended a Siyum before. I've catered many, but I've never attended one as somebody who had finished a Masehes of Talmud. I asked my wife and my close friend Aaron Newman, and they both said you should speak about your journey. I will keep it brief, and I will try not to bore you. In fact, this morning I texted Rabbi Silber. I was very nervous about talking about myself, but the rabbi said, go ahead, do it. So here we go. As the pandemic started, I stopped going to shul. I spent time working, reading, watching TV, hanging out with my kids, and cycling, not necessarily in that order. Things were still very tough and uncertain at work, and during a heart-to-heart conversation with my good friend Mosey Truoff from the Knishop, he recommended that I read a book called Chovat HaLevavot. I had never heard of it, but I started the next day. As crazy as it sounds, I credit this book with saving me. It taught me that the way I was leading my life up until that moment was completely flawed. My focus was all in on Parnassa, but Emunah and Bitachon were lacking. As a result, I was constantly stressed to a breaking point, never feeling that it was enough, never going to bed feeling like work was truly done for the day. As I read and I learned, slowly but surely I started to realize the importance of Hishtadlut. It opened up many conversations between my wife and me that we never would otherwise have had. It put Laura and me on the same path, deepened our relationship, and strengthened us as a team. We began to understand that we had to do what we had to do. We began to understand that all we had to do was our share, and that we were people of action, showing up fully every single day. We could trust Hashem to do His part, ensuring our success. We are now learning Mesilat Yesharim every day and have life-changing conversations on a daily basis. Our empty nest is not an empty nest. It's nothing. It's nowhere close to empty. Laura and I have discovered that just like everything else in life, strengthening emunah is hard work. It takes hishtadlut. It does not come naturally. It does not come easily. The weird thing for me is that I am now truly enjoying this work. At a certain point during the pandemic, when the shul started getting back to something normal, my friend again, Aaron Newman, invited me to Rabbi Goldfez's shul for what they call, and they have every Shabbos, a Kiddush Hashem club. I went. Then I went again, and then I went again. Barry joined us 3 weeks ago. Probably understand why. I am now on the regular rotation, and Rabbi Coleman Akiva Kovacs teaches us Parsha there every single week. Aaron then invited me to Rabbi Goldfez's weekly shir. I went. I got hooked. I attend the kollel there quite regularly, and I'm welcomed, even as one of the very few Ashkenazim in the shul. There's the Sephardi party. Now you know why I answered the phone. About 6 weeks before the beginning of the Nazir daf cycle, I thought to myself, I wonder, could I actually do this? Talmud has always been an enigma to me. I tried a few times with not much success. I set a reminder in my phone for the day before the date. The date came, started. It did not take long before I got hooked. I get annoyed at myself when I fall behind. The continuity of Daf Yomi keeps me moving and keeps me interested. Honestly, I am lost a lot of the time, but I stay on the train. And the Musa that Rabbi Silber throws in regularly teaches me to be a better Jew. I hope I get the following details correct, and I called Kalman Akiva today to ask him to make sure that I had it correct. One man says, I am a Nazir. 2 witnesses come forth, please correct me if I'm wrong, and they say, he said that he was a Nazir for 2 years. And 2 other witnesses come forth, and they say, he said he was a Nazir for 5 years. Did I get that right? Okay. To me, this sounds like a normal day at the office. You got 5 Jews, all disagreeing. But Rabbi Silber put it into context. Who could have thought, sorry. Two years is part of 5 years. I can't find the place, so I'll tell you what I was going to say. 2 years is part of 5 years, and the Musar in that is compromise. And that was such a powerful moment. That just hooked me. From there on, I knew this was a journey. I had to stay on the train. I record snippets of your Musar all the time, and I send it to those I love. I send it to my wife. I send it to my kids. I send it to my friends. Amazing. And I always get a response. My 3 biggest takeaways from the Torah journey over the last 3 years are as follows. Number 1, I have to admit that these 3 my wife wrote for me this afternoon. I have to admit that. Because she read this and she said, you're missing something. So Laura wrote these next 3 points. And she made me promise that I wouldn't tell that. Sorry. I'll ask for Mechila later. Moving my singular focus on faith to a focus on faith and trust in Hashem, a trust that if I show up and do my share, Hashem will be there to help me ensure my success. That's number 1. Number 2, shifting my mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. I trust Hashem will give me exactly what I need and when I need it. Number 3, loving myself, Mesilat Yesharim, not out of vanity, or as a result of inflated ego, but the exact opposite, understanding my self-worth. I now understand that Hashem gives each of us something unique we can bring to the world. We therefore have to find the value of our uniqueness. Then we can use it to contribute to our community. This morning, Rabbi Silber said 2 extremely powerful things that resonated with me. The first was, be an actor, not a spectator. Sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the ride, as far as my life is concerned, does not work. The second thing Rabbi Silber said, which is even more powerful, I would like to end with, and I would like to include the Rabbi's words as a bracha, and I give every person that I would like to give every person in this group. May your learning of Torah give you all shalom and inner peace, and may you all find your own inner worth. Thank you for accepting me into this exclusive group. I have a lofty goal, and I invite you all right now that in 7.5 years' time, when we finish Nazir again, I will sponsor this shir, and you're all invited. Yeah.
Incredible. Chevra, please, there's more food. Take a little bit more food. Oh, Yonasan. Chevra, a very special thank you to Yonasan for the beautiful, beautiful food tonight. Chevra, so please take a little bit, take more food, and we're going to resume. No.
She's incredible. Thank you very much. That's really very much. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
check out Kiddush Hashem Club this week.
I'm gonna check it out. What is it? We gotta start a Kiddush Hashem Club.
Yeah, we do in the back room. That's all right.
Oh, I thought that was Kiddush Club. That's Kiddush Hashem Club. God, I never knew. I never knew. That's actually what I'm
one more sunset, just one more night, just one more dawn. Let there be peace. Everybody sing with me.
So that one of the things that he missed most from his youth. No, thank you. He said that in America. I'm sorry. Rabbi Soloveitchik said that in America there are many people who are Shomer Shabbos, but what he missed most from his youth is the ability to be a Shomer Erev Shabbos. So what does it mean to be a Shomer Erev Shabbos? This is what it means to be a Shomer Erev Shabbos. To have a beautiful Suda, to have Heilige Eli Beer with us, Eli Cohen, even though he publicly embarrassed me, again. But that's all right. That's okay. That's okay. It's Yisur and Ba'olam Hazeh. I'll take it. I'm happy to take it. Chaver, this is what it means to be a Shomer Erev Shabbos. Because again, it's a haschala. We're beginning tonight. It's 8:15 now. Again, it's really Erev Shabbos. And you feel it, right? You feel something different. Your neshama feels something different. The guf feels something different. The world feels different. The air feels different. Everything feels different. Because we feel the Shabbos Malchus, so we hear her footsteps. We hear the footsteps of the Shabbos Malchus, of the Shabbos Queen coming close. And there's an excitement and there's an energy. And again, sometimes in life there are these events, this confluence of events. Erev Shabbos and a new Masechta, Chaver, there's nothing better than that in the world. And Pesach, right? Shabbos HaGadol, you're right. It's not just Erev Shabbos. So new Masechta, Erev Shabbos HaGadol, and we had Kishka. In the cholent and in the chicken. Two forms of Kishka delivered tonight. So Chaver, really, we're on the cusp of something absolutely incredible, and in that vein, it's really my pleasure. One of the greatest parts about the Daf Yomi, I feel, first of all, now, Chaver, you all know Larry Franks. So first of all, you're not getting a discount. I just want to point out. Don't think you're going into the restaurant and say, "Hey, we learned Daf Yomi together." I just want to head that off at the pass. Right? You're welcome, right? What a good table. No, only I get the good table. That's a true story. But Chaver, part of the beauty of it is the relationships that are created. And the truth is, relationships that would never occur were it not for the daf, right? Aryeh Gross, and I speak about this all the time, that, Baruch Hashem, there's a very strong connection between our Kihila, our side of town, and the Beezer side of town. Ranchley, I'm sorry. Oh, is that political to say just Beezer? Sorry, Ranchley.
I was a non-member.
Don't respond. You're good. Right? So between us and Chaver, where is that from? So of course the truth is the origins of that is Eretz Yisrael. That's really the origins of it. But the truth is the glue that keeps that bond together is Torah. It's a beautiful thing. In fact, one of the hardest things for me is that so much of our Chevra is separated geographically. I think about, if we weren't separated geographically, I honestly believe Mashiach would be here. Like if we were together if our chevra was together every single Shabbos and davening together, if bringing together and learning together, I have no doubt that the Geula would be here. But it's not time. It's not yet time. We're separated by this distance, and it's beautiful to see that there's the suburban East Shir. Who's giving shir? Oh, David Meir is giving shir this week, right? David Meir Loeb is giving shir this week, Baruch Hashem, for the new Masechta. So there's a Daf Yomi shir another week, but there's a Chevra. But it's a real relationship, because it's not like about a sports team, and it's not about, whatever, some activity. It's a bond that's built around Torah. And it's one of the most incredible bonds, one of the most credible glue that creates a meaningful relationship. People who would never, in reality, people who don't travel in the same social circles, people who don't even travel in the same religious circles. And Baruch Hashem, like the Torah brings us together and creates such a camaraderie and such a friendship. And that's part of the beauty of our shir. So, representing our chevra from the other side of town, from the Ranch side of town, it's my pleasure to ask Reb David Flum to share with us a few words.
Where's Jeremy? Where's your nephew? Is your nephew here? So, truth is, I was on the way here at like 7:03, and the rabbi, I got a voice note, the rabbi asked me to speak. So I said, okay, all right, I'll figure something out. So, at the end of Masechta Zav, the end of Nazir, there's a piece which, in the middle of the shir, you can ask Dovi was sitting behind me, it was like a piece. I'm like, oh, this is something that I'm going to say to my kids' bar mitzvah, and I'm saying it here. So the Gemara says that a ger shenis gayer, the ger when he becomes, at the moment he accepts upon himself the yoke of Judaism and mitzvahs, there's a certain weakness, there's a certain chalishas hadas. He becomes physically weak and ill. And there's a beautiful rush. The rush says, so the rush was on the bottom of my page. I think it was Ari was looking at the top. I saw a bunch of guys flipping. The rush was on the bottom of my page. The rush says that what's the reason? He says a beautiful lashon b'pnei daigas hamitzvahs, because of he's concerned and worried and I would say preoccupied, and there's a responsibility that now that he's a yid and he has the responsibility to be mekayim the mitzvahs, there's a certain, when your person has that on his shoulders, that's heavy, and that weakens a person. So I was thinking about it, and at large, being a daf yomi person, and I think specifically being an early morning daf yomi person, we are all daf daigus. That's my phrase. We're daigus hadaf. What does that mean? I can speak for myself, right? My nights are different for the past couple of years because I know that I've got to get up at 5:27, right? I'm a big sports fan. 5:27, yeah. I don't, but no snooze. I get up. Modani, yeah, I'm up here at 5:51. By the way, I don't stop at red lights. I don't stop. It's true, I don't stop. I slow down, rolling stop, and then I go. Yeah, and if you stop, I'll give a little short go. So, right, so my nights, but being a little seriously, like there's Mesiras Nefesh because of that, right? At 7:30 at night, there's a certain aura of Daigas Hadaf. The Daf Yomi's coming, right? I fall asleep during World Series Game 6 because I got to get up at 5:30. So my night is different. The responsibility is different. I could probably speaks for all of us. We give up certain things. I used to play ball at night. I don't anymore because I got to get up early. So just that's one piece. So right, we all come, and I think if we're true to ourselves, when my neighbor is not there, when I look to my right, my left, straight ahead, and I see someone else is not there, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could have slept in. On the contrary, right, when I see everyone else there, there's a certain chizuk. Short little story. I was at Accents on I think it was Tuesday. I was at Accents on Tuesday, and I was in a meeting, and a certain someone walked by, and in only a way that I can say, this is very nicely, very soft, It wasn't right. It was very soft. I basically said, we would like you to come back to the daf. It's kind of in short what I said. And you know what? And that was it. We kibitzed, we laughed, we hugged, and that was that. The next morning, he was at the daf. So my point is, there's a certain responsibility, there's an innate responsibility that we all have to each other that, right, when it's a struggle, yes, there are certain dafim that are so hard. And I'm just there. But you know what? You show up, because when you don't show up, you don't know the next morning who won't show up because you weren't there the day before. Also, Daigas Hadaf. Right here, I'm sitting down. I get an email, Parsha, right, the Parsha Shavua Dvar Torah. I look at it. It's Parshas to Zav. That's what I see. That's what I just saw. It's Parshat Zav. Because when you're a Daf Yomi Yid, and that's what you're thinking, oh, David, it took a while. David, you got it. You got it. Also, one more thing, right? You can't go without talking about Rabbi Silber a little bit. So I can say, right, I'm a Yekish Yid. German descent, and growing up, everything was German, everything was Yekish, pretty straight. I can say really wholeheartedly that all the Torah that I say over to my father, bar mitzvah, whenever I speak, the Torah that comes out of my mouth is 90% Rabbi Silber based and Hasidish based, right? Barditchev, if you name it, and I think that's just the way of life. Whether it's Daf Yomi or the Shiurim, right? My Friday afternoon, when I'm on my way to Fresh Market, wherever I'm going, I won't get out of the car until I press play and hear the 7-minute snippet of the weekly Dvar Torah, right? So it's part of the Chaver Shah, Rabbi Silber obviously at the helm, and I can say I'm proud to be. I think I'm a member of Suburban. I think so. Pay enough to be, but I'm proud to be really friends with everyone. Like the Rav said, there's people here that I would not have known, and I feel so much closer to because of the Daf Yomi. And Mazel Tov, and thank you all for listening.
So please, we're gonna sing a little bit now, Emirat Hashem. There's still more food. Dessert is gonna come out, Emirat Hashem, in just a little bit, but there's still plenty of food to enjoy. We're gonna bring and sing a little bit. Help yourself to l'chaims and help yourself to food. Rabeli's gonna lead us in some shira. I just want to draw your attention to thank you to all of our sponsors. I'm not going to read everyone off, but you'll look at the programs that are in front of you, and Baruch Hashem, the sponsors of tonight's Siyum, Baruch Hashem, of a beautiful, beautiful experience together. We thank all of our sponsors for their incredible generosity, and halavai should be zochem Yirtzeh Hashem that our next Siyum should be in Yerushalayim Yirakol Shem Hira B'Yameinu. Amen.
All right, Shabbos is coming. Look on the Shabbos.
Sweetness of Shabbos, no yam, yedu b'vosecho, no yam, yedu b'vosecho, no yam,
Gibal, Gibal, beautiful.
But Dovi was the one who, Baruch Hashem, really did everything for this, for the Siyum, for the Shabbos. And we thank Rabbi Dovi very much for always taking an active role in everything that is his odorous within our Kehillah. So one of the beautiful things that we have within the shul is we have a number of father-son learning combos, which is always really beautiful and always very special. Sorry? And brothers. I'm sorry. Also, right. The Artman's Baruch Hashem. And grandsons, right? Baruch Hashem. Right. This morning we had 3 generations of Ziffer. Brother, all right. I think we get it. I think the idea is there are other people who are related to other people who come and learn together. That's kind of the takeaway message over here, right? But the truth is, there really is nothing more special than seeing father and son sitting together, seeing father and son learning together, steiging together, growing together, morning after morning. It's like an interesting, like, V'shinamtam levanecha. But V'shinamtam levanecha is the mitzvah for a father to teach his son. But the truth is, I think that this is even something higher. It's not a father teaching his son, but it's a father growing alongside with his son. And one of these beautiful father-son pairs that we have are the Rosenblums, of Gedaliah and Reb Josh, Baruch Hashem, who everybody sit at the same table with each other as well, Baruch Hashem, which is such a beautiful and incredible thing. And I'm sure must be an incredible source of simcha for Josh to get to learn with his father. And I can only imagine the nachas Reb Gedaliah getting to learn with his son. So it's a pleasure to ask Reb Gedaliah to share with us a few words.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I want to thank Rabbi Silber for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I'm going to try my very best to keep it short because it's late. The rabbi does an excellent job of really mixing things up regarding his randomness of who he asked to actually speak. But as a new young friend just mentioned to me recently, I'm now looked at as one of the older guys, and I guess that's okay. But the MS, I would prefer if any of the younger guys would be here in place of me. But when the rabbi asks you to do something, you do it. That's part of being on the same team. When the coach calls your number, you're ready. There's no adjustment time. In the words of the Chachamim, even if a person doesn't really have any great wisdom, possibly even a low level of wisdom, his age and his experience will be of value possibly, and hopefully that will be true over the next couple minutes here. But I do want to say how happy I am to be part of this group and how proud I am to be learning with each and every one of you and to be on that very same team. Our coach, the rabbi, he is riding a winning streak, and he is rocking and rolling, and there is no way that we won't try our hardest as well. For me, the daf is what defines my day, and I am up around 5 o'clock, so it better define my day. I'll try to define what that actually means to me. But first, just a little bit about my personal history. Most of you knew me as Josh's dad, and I'm really comfortable with that. It's actually somewhat of a relief. I remember when Josh was in 8th or 9th grade, and he was already an overall good kid, already Baruch Hashem learning well and overall applying himself as was expected of him. But I also remember lamenting to one of his rebbeim, who was extremely close to me since I was a teenager. And I spoke with him about how Josh's skills had really surpassed mine, and I could no longer learn with him the way that I really wanted him to be learned with. In basketball, when you play with superior players, eventually you improve. He, the rabbi, told me 2 things. He said, number 1, keep providing the place and the space and the resources for him to thrive and grow. And number 2, go be by yourself and do a little yishbodadus, pour yourself a l'chaim, say a real thank you to Hashem for giving you this bracha, and I think I probably had 2. It was at this time that I realized that I had to really step up my game, and I started to learn with a program called Dirshu. Many of you have heard of it. Dirshu was just really getting started, and I had heard about it, and in Silver Spring it was divided up into 4 different shiurim, and I joined the 5:45 a.m. Class, just like our time. But there was a difference. We schlepped our own coffee. So I have a huge hakaras hatov to Ari Lerner for making. He makes it all happen. It means a lot to a lot of us. I knew Ari's grandparents really well, and they were, and as his parents are, and as Ari is, they are people of the community, people on the same team. Thank you, Ari. I know I didn't see him, but I wanted to thank him. So this was 1998. I started Dirshu, and I was involved for 21, 22 years. Just a little information about Dirshu, some of you know. Rabbi David Hofstetter started Dirshu in 1997, just a few months before I started it. I heard his name for years. I think he's maybe 4 or 5 years older than me. His parents are survivors. He's a very, very successful real estate investor, a respected rabbi, a philanthropist on the highest level. He's from Toronto. You know, it's one thing to have it. You know, it's another thing to know what to do with it. It's amazing what one person can do when he's truly inspired. What he really wanted to do really was simply to strengthen and encourage Limud Torah. He wanted to do it so much that he was willing to put up his own money. Thousands of people, teachers, students, were receiving stipends weekly from him. And he offered this money for taking the tests. Our class bypassed the money, but some did take the tests. Dirshu essentially is an amud a day or less. There's no Shabbos, there's no Sunday, and there's no Yom Tovim. To give you an idea, it takes approximately 4 or 5 times as long to get through a Masechta. It's just a little bit of a different flavor. When I moved to Baltimore 3 years ago, I desperately tried to hold on to it, and I actually drove there, you know, almost in the middle of the night there for 5-6 weeks. But it was inevitable that I would try the daf, and it's been great. I love it in every way. I love it every day. It makes my day. You see, for me, it's not the daf. For me, it's the yomi. It's your daily habit. Even though I wasn't doing the daf, but instead I was doing the Dirshu, still I was doing the yomi. And as on the side, God willing, I'll be making my first Siyum on the Shas. I'm approximating about 3 or 4 years from now, meaning that from the beginning to the end, it will have taken me somewhere between 27 and 28 years to get through it. Many of the Masechtas these past 3 years, most of them actually are repeats, which is excellent. Anyway, let's get this train back on the track. By learning Torah and doing mitzvahs, what defines the Yid and what defines who we are? It defines what we feel is important and what we dedicate our minds to, our skills, our abilities, and our time. And most importantly, what we dedicate our, which is our time, the most important commodity. As you get older, that commodity only becomes more and more valuable. So what does it do? What does the daf mean to me? For me, it starts my day, not just the coffee. It defines the day. You're off to a good start. No, you're off to a great start. And everybody knows that when you're off to a great start, your chance of success is much, much improved. We all want our days to be successful. And it was speaking of Jewish success that Rabbi David Hyatt, Zichrono Livracha of blessed memory, once said that success in America is judged by a nameplate on the door and a bigelow on the floor. But as Jews, that is not who we are. Without the Torah, who are we? It is true that we enjoy our Gashmias, but by involving ourselves in a daily program of Daf Yomi, a daily program using the concept of Ritzivus, or repetition that is uninterrupted, that keeps you in a healthy pattern or keeps you in that environment which you yourself can grow and thrive, and really where it's positioned that really the only other alternative is to stay back in bed and probably watch more I Love Lucy. A little more sleep, you could get a little more sleep. You have to give up something. You have to give up something. You have to be willing to sacrifice something. By the bris, there's a bracha to see the child enter the world of Torah, chuppah, and maisim tovim. What is the comparison of learning Torah to bris, or a marriage, or a life of maisim tova? The answer is you have to sacrifice something. Just like during the bris, the moment that the baby enters a relationship with Hashem, he's giving up something, he's losing something. And we want to create a relationship with Hashem. You want to create a relationship with our spouses. You want to create a relationship with your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, and the people that you want to do these maisim tovim with. Then you need to make sacrifices. We need to give of ourselves for the sake of those relationships, because when you take away a part of our being, we allow room for something else. And so you see that it's only by losing that we really truly gain. And I basically want to thank you for your attention. My bracha to all of you is that you stay strong and that you should have chilutz atzamos, staying power and focus. Thank you.
Chabra, please help yourself to dessert.
That's amazing. Fine.
It's scary though.
La 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 la. Oh, oh, oh. say a little something.
Where's Saeed?
Mach the uplights, please. Mach the uplights, please. Yes, thank you. Mach the uplights, yes. Mach do ahead the uplights. There we go. So I just wanted to say that this is one of many songs that I don't remember where or when I composed it. Obviously, the words are from the Kapitel, from Tehillim, where it's this tefillah is attributed to Esther Malka when before she was going into Achashverosh to plead to him on behalf of her people, and she's giving her life, but she knew this is the time. And it's sort of like there's a very sad tone to it, because it's Keli Lama Zaftani, why have you left me? Just felt like God was nowhere with him, wasn't listening to the prayers. And then the next part is Elakai Ekra Yomam Velo Taina, I call to you by day, you don't answer, Velaila Velo Dimali. At nighttime, it just seems like there's no answer, it just feels like nothing. It just feels like maybe I'm not even here, I'm not even praying. And it doesn't seem to be an answer to that. But this song, as the same thing happens to me with many songs that came to me in the moment. I realized I don't have to sing the answer, but just the fact that I'm singing, the fact that I'm praying. We could even pray about getting no response. We could feel even to the point of being moved, even to the point of crying, of tears. And then that's when we realize that he never left us. He never ever left us, was there all the time. But sometimes God is saying, I want something deeper. You know, you're praying, you're asking for an answer, but I just want you. I just want you, Kavod. And that's what it was. Kimu v'kibu, alech knaises kol Yehudim, asked to get all the Jews together, everybody together. I'm coming here tonight, I see like so many different types. Everybody has such different kind of backgrounds. There's no normal way that there would be a kehillah of like such a diverse kehillah. It's only miraculous. It's only miraculous. This is only from Hashem, you know. He unites us all in His light. He bless us. We're all like one in the light. We're all following the light. What's the difference? What's the difference between me and you if we're all following the light? So I have a little bit of this, you have a little bit of that, so what? Give up. The beauty is that I could pray at all. That's the beauty. That's the answer. The answer is V'anis Filasi. The answer is when I am my prayer. Hashem, to you God, Eit Ratzon. It's a time of grace. When I'm truly in my prayer, that's where it all is. When I'm truly basking in your light, the light of the divine. And I'm learning your Torah be'emes. I just want to be a part of this life, part of your people. something very beautiful came to me just now. I was just thinking that I was reminded of the prayer we say, Ilan, Ilan, B'meh Varechacha, Peresecha Mesukim. When you find one of the Tanaim, we found a beautiful tree with beautiful fruit. And he said, truth, what can I bless you? Everything is perfect with you. But I'm just blessing you that the fruits that come out of you should be like you. So it's like a blessing that people say for a lot of times for Chassan and Kala, that you're so beautiful and you have all the blessing, Kalanava Chasuda, everything is so wonderful. What can I bless you with? Eli Yiratzin, Shekol Netzias, Shanoitim Imcha Yu Kamaischa, that your offspring, Shemama, should be like you. And I'm just over here, I'm really connecting over here with this wonderful Kehillah over here. I don't know, maybe this can only happen in Baltimore. I don't know, maybe there's something about Baltimore, but Mamish, what is it? It's just good. I don't know. It's just, I feel like there's a achdus, there's a unity in purpose. There's a unity in purpose. Nobody's looking down on each other. Everybody's like b'shalom. It's such a beautiful thing. Maybe I'm naive, but I don't know. I feel it. I feel it. I see it. I feel it.
You know her.
And I'm feeling that blessing. That when you come to such a place, all I could say is that, this shouldn't just be something that's held. We have to hold a strong vessel. But this should be something that just spread throughout the Jewish community in the world. The whole world, as Hashem, the world should learn from this. This is the light the world needs. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. On that note, the Freis Aleinu Sukkot Shalom.